Yo, what is up everybody, and welcome back to another F1 2020 My Team video. It is now race number 4 of the 2020 campaign. We are in China as the F1 calendar continues its Asian persuasion early on in the going. We are gone from Vietnam, which I thought would be a welcoming sight, but Vietnam actually resulted in quite the eventful race for the Cookie Monsters. We ended up pulling out a P5 somehow by virtue of many little miracles forming one giant miracle to where we didn't finish last in that race basically. So now we come into China with all of the confidence in the world with a 4th place finish and a 5th place finish in our back pocket. Surely we don't repeat that same luck today, but you never know. Any given Sunday, right? That applies to football. It also applies to racing. So, you know, you never know the way the safety car is going to play out. The virtual safety cars like in Bahrain. The accidents, the retirements like Lewis Hamilton retiring out of the Vietnam Grand Prix last time out. We are now going in for one-shot qualifying. As usual, we do one-shot qualifying rather than like a short qualifying. Just because, you know, I just want to get qualifying done when I get to the race. That's the main thing I'm focused on. So even though short qualifying is a bit more of a realistic thing to do and probably a little bit better than one shot, we're just gonna, you know, whirl it, see what happens. So the pace at China is not looking too bad. Like in Vietnam, we were looking like the worst car on the grid besides the Williams. But I feel like in China, we could be, you know, maybe a 15th place team. And then we'll see if the driver can make up any extra positions beyond that, which of course is us. So far we are projected to get P12, it looks like, P10. Alright, it's rising up a little bit. Anything above, I think, like, you know, 15th or 14th is definitely punching above our weight and definitely a big surprise to me. So the fact that we're doing so good so far is, like I said, pretty surprising that we are getting this much pace out of the car compared to the rest of the field. Valtteri Bottas right now holding pole position in the Mercedes, though that might have been a commentator's jinx, because look at the way we're dropping down the order. P18 now, and a big slice of humble pie has been delivered right to our doorstep as we are looking to hopefully make up some ground on the straightaway. We went with, you know, a lot more of a high-speed setup to where we can make up a lot of time on this straightaway, so hopefully, you know, the corners we might lose a couple of, you know, tenths of a second, but we can hopefully make it up back on the straightaway. That is the goal as we go as late on the brakes as we possibly can without overshooting the corner. That was pretty decent, pretty solid. I say this has been a pretty solid lap. Nothing out of the spectacular. We're doing pretty much what we are expected to be doing in this car. A P15 as Valtteri Bottas officially claims pole position for the Chinese Grand Prix. Actually, it's P16. Okay. Ha! More humble pie right to you. So the Mercedes get a nice easy 1-2. Max Verstappen actually gets P3 as you guys see the rest of the order. Our teammate Nikita Mazepin down the running order as per usual, only beating the Williams, though, you know, Mazepin's not exactly the fastest driver on the grid, so we can't expect him to really be doing anything spectacular. For the first half of the season, he's just more of a placeholder second driver, and maybe by the halfway point of the season we can get a better teammate. But for now, let's get ready for the Chinese Grand Prix.
It's time to find out which driver is up to the task of claiming the Chinese Grand Prix. We're here in Shanghai. We start a lap here at Shanghai with the long, difficult right-handers of turns 1 and 2, the first of 16 corners that make up this 3.3-mile circuit. The incredibly long back straight provides the best passing opportunity of the lap, with speeds in excess of 200 miles per hour before the braking zone of turn 14. With the Grand Prix nearly upon us, Anthony Davidson is by my side once again to offer his perspective. Why don't we start by talking about Valtteri Bottas? Looks like they've got a tough race in store today, as grid penalties from changing power unit components has forced them further down the field.
But on the bright side, at least those fresh components can help them maintain the power they need to come through the pack. I expect to see them take a more aggressive approach today to make up for the compromised start.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Vettel, Leclerc, Alexander Albon, and Ricciardo, Ocon, Fiat, Norris and Valtteri Bottas. They've taken a grid penalty. Stroll, Perez, Pierre Gasly and Raikkonen, Cook, Magnussen, Carlos Sainz and Antonio Giovinazzi, Grosjean, Mazepin, Latifi and George Russell ends our grid lineup. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Here in Shanghai, the one stop is definitely the superior strategy. As you guys see, the two stop is what many of the front runners are going to do. Meanwhile, many of the midfielders are going mediums to hards. So we have 5 red lights on and 5 red lights out. Once again, they hold the start pretty long, but nonetheless, we are underway with the Chinese Grand Prix sticking behind Raikkonen, as I believe we are 3 wide. Yes, we are with Kevin Magnussen. We make a little bit of contact, as now all of a sudden we're going from 0 to hero down the inside, gaining many positions, but that's going to be a racing point forcing us wide. That's Sergio Perez. Once again, we find ourselves in a 3 wide situation. A little bit of wing damage there, but we're just gonna have to soldier on and dive. Perez, a double overtake, a little bit more contact with Norris. Hopefully that's not any more damage, and looks like we are all good on the front wing. Here comes Perez right back at us. We're slotted into P12, maybe P13 if Lance Stroll can make this move, which he's trying oh so hard to. For now though, we are in the middle of the Pink Panthers, and a pretty decent start for us, gaining 4 positions after the initial getaway. And yeah, I think we are pretty solid in P12 though. With the CPU just stacking up at the hairpin, we're able to easily sneak attack Sergio Perez, and for the 3rd time this lap we overtake Sergio Perez, and now we find ourselves in the 11th position. And like I mentioned before, pretty much every single car in the top 10, they are all on soft tires, so that means that they're going to have to be 2 stopping. And the 1 stop is definitely superior as we look at a replay of the initial start of the race. So, you know, some guys like the McLarens and a couple of cars up ahead, they might be, you know, dead as far as their strategy in this race. They might not get points simply because of, you know, having to make that extra pit stop. We'll see how it all plays out. Of course, safety car and all that could come out at any given time, as we've seen in the past couple of races. As for now, we are under heavy here comes racing points all over us. Mainly Sergio Perez trying to apply the heat as we go wide right there, making a mistake. That's going to allow Perez to get the dream run down this back straightaway, but we're holding on strong ourselves. Both cars have Mercedes power units in them, as Perez trying to go around the outside, but that's never going to work on the hairpin unless you can get the switchback done, which we're not going to allow to happen. So Sergio Perez will still have to stick in P12 right behind us. It looks like we are holding up an absolute train behind us, and that's not just something that, you know, it looks like we're doing. We are holding up a train of cars behind us, mainly the racing points. Both of these racing points are easily faster than us, but we have to try to keep them behind us as long as we possibly can. And we do have a little bit of wing damage, something to keep in mind. Might be affecting the handling of the car slightly, but it's not even yellow, so hopefully it's not too bad. As you see, Perez just sticking behind us. He's going to wait for DRS down this long back straightaway. China has one of the longest straights in the entire circuit, or the entire calendar, I should say. So that's going to allow Sergio Perez all of the time in the world to DRS, slipstream, use battery. We're using a lot of overtake ourselves, trying to use it strategically. We're going to let Perez go on the outside if he so chooses, if he thinks he can make that move. But once again, with the hairpin turn coming up, we are solid. So I believe our pit window is going to open up around lap 12. So that's going to be our switch from medium to hard tires. But the pit window for the front runners should be opening up any lap. Those soft tires degrade very fast on this Shanghai circuit. As you see, Perez, maybe he is going to take a look in the grass, and he turns us sideways. Sergio Perez, a desperate lunge. We all hang on. Lance Stroll trying to sneak the nose in. He's going to slot behind his teammate, Sergio Perez. What was that? So we're going to go on board with Lance Stroll here, and I don't know what Perez thought he was going to do on that turn, because he was just too far to, you know, surely make the move right there. He just didn't have the nose inside. You know, you'd at least want to be like halfway, like a half a car length inside of the car that you're trying to overtake. But Perez, you know, he went in the grass. He was that desperate. Here comes, Perez trying to go inside, outside. That was a little bit of a filthy block by us. We're just kind of getting the elbows out on Sergio Perez after what he did in that corner. Not gonna lie, ticked me off a little bit. So I'm just, not gonna cut Sergio any breaks. It seems like we've had a couple of battles with the racing point of Sergio Perez. As you guys see, Perez, no, he's not gonna go inside. He's going outside, all the way outside into the pit lane. So, as you guys see, Perez is coming in, Bottas has come in, it looks like a Renault has come in, that's going to be Max Verstappen coming out of the pits, the Ferrari not too far behind, and Max Verstappen comes out right ahead of us. Verstappen just perfectly executing that pit stop, his team perfectly executing to where they found the window to come out right ahead of this absolute train of cars, mainly cars on the medium like ourselves. It looks like Verstappen has boxed for the hard, so Verstappen may be going all the way on those hard tires, so maybe the front runners are not going to two-stop, but those hard tires are going to have to do a long distance as we now have Lance Stroll on the outside of us. Remember, Perez pit the previous lap. Stroll trying to do what he can, but it seems like Stroll is not as strong as his teammate Perez, which you would expect. Perez is the higher rated driver in the game and, probably the better driver in real life. So Stroll in the same car doesn't seem to be able to put us under the immense amount of pressure that, Perez did. Speaking of pressure, here comes Lewis Hamilton. He's going to make it easy down the inside, and is Lewis gonna try to dive us? Look at him inching closer and closer. We have to leave him the space. What a lunge from Lewis Hamilton, but he hasn't gotten the job done just yet. Maybe now around the outside, maybe not. We gave Lewis all the space to allow him to make the overtake, but Hamilton still is behind our Cookie Monster machine. Hamilton with some fresh tires. He's gonna try to go on the inside here with better grip, better traction, and a better car. Lewis Hamilton, inside, outside, job not done just yet. Once again, Hamilton cannot put the power down, and we stay side by side with the Mercedes. Hamilton's got the inside. He's now got the racing line, whatever line he wants. He fends us off and goes pretty early on the brakes going into that corner. A sneaky good tactic there by Lewis Hamilton to make sure that we just are stuck behind him, which is what we've been doing to the cars behind us. We got a taste of our own medicine, what Lewis did to us. And like I tried to mention before, I was going to let Lewis buy us. I didn't want to race him like that, but for some reason, Lewis could not get the job done, so as you guys see, we are running in 4th place, but we are due to make our pit stop literally right now. Leclerc is coming in. Leclerc already has boxed once. It looks like he's gone soft, and then maybe he'll go hard to the end. So Leclerc is going to come out a bit behind us. Stroll staying out on the racetrack. I don't know where Sergio Perez is, but can't seem to find him. It looks like, it's Leclerc and then Gasly, so Gasly might be a new player. I'm not sure what position we are truly in this race. We're running 13th right now, but I have to believe some of the cars ahead of us have to make another pit stop, including Carlos Sainz, Daniel Kvyat, and our teammate Mazepin, who is currently running in the points, but, that's going to be short-lived. As you see, Charles Leclerc easily making the move on us. Down the straightaway, I did literally put the car in lean. I was not going to battle Charles Leclerc because, I'm just trying to run my own pace right now, and we're not going to be able to run our own pace if we even try to defend that Ferrari. Not that we really had much of a chance down the long back straightaway here at Shanghai. So we're over halfway with this Chinese Grand Prix, and after some pit stops, we are running in P11, but I still don't think everybody's pit yet because you see Sainz is finally coming to the pits. Kvyat's now in the pits, and it looks like a Renault is in pit road, so after all the pit stops conclude, we come out right behind the Ferrari of Sebastian Vettel in P8. I believe we are literally just best of the rest right now behind the Ferraris, the Mercedes, the Red Bulls, and maybe one more driver besides that, so I think this is our true running position, P8. It might be P7, not too sure. Though, as we continue, it's lap 19. I think this is our true position, and we are looking like we are on pace to get 4 points in this race. But we have to watch out for Lance Stroll. He is slowly, now quickly, cutting the gap behind us. Gasly is about 3.5 seconds behind. Gasly's not too much of a worry right now. Though, even if we get passed by Lance Stroll, a P9 is still a good position for us. Even though we've had back-to-back top 5 finishes, a P8 is still vastly overachieving in the Cookie Monster, and even a P9 is overachieving. Anytime we get points, that is pretty much a win for this team, and that's, hopefully going to help out our driver acclaim and team acclaim, and maybe speed up the, I would say rebuilding, just a straight up building process of this brand new Formula 1 team. So as you guys see, Stroll hasn't exactly gotten close enough to us to truly make any moves. Like the way Perez was putting us under attack lap after lap at the beginning of the race, Stroll just does not seem to be able to do that. Down this straightaway, he's not close enough. In the middle sector, the first sector, he is never close enough to, truly put us under pressure. Gasly hasn't really cut the gap too much. As you guys see, yellow flags. I believe Nicholas Latifi retired from the race, so I think Latifi was running dead last, so that's not too much. Actually, no, that's Kimi Raikkonen who's out of the race. Raikkonen's out. Raikkonen was not on pace to get points anyways, so not too big of a blow to the Alfa Romeo team. Now, Lance Stroll has had, this is the closest he's been this entire second stint, but, where do you make the pass? Can Lance Stroll make the pass? Don't think so. He's fallen back. He's almost a second behind us to the point where we might actually be able to break out a DRS range, get Stroll over a second behind us for the last couple laps of this race, which would be beautiful. I don't really want to deal with the pressure of Stroll. Not that there really is much pressure. As you guys see, Vettel and Leclerc 23 seconds ahead, so, they are flying, cruising way faster than us, but, as you guys see, Gasly has not really cut the gap, so I would say, we're probably not faster than Stroll still in this race. But, truly, I think we were like a 10th place car in this race. I'm not sure what happened to Sergio Perez. Perez, I think he two-stopped this race, so that might have doomed his strategy, or maybe, since he pit so early, he went to traffic. I'm not too sure. Not that I really care. If he's not getting points, that's cool with me after what Sergio tried to do on, I believe, in lap 5 when he tried to literally dive bomb us and, nearly ruined both of our races. Because Perez was he might have gotten damage from that incident for all we know. I'm not too sure. We nearly spun. The first couple of laps were pretty dicey, but this second stint of the race has been pretty carefree. I believe Max Verstappen has had the lead of this race most of the way. Remember, we came out pretty close to Verstappen, and he one-stopped. He went on the hards, and that one-stop strategy is going to allow Verstappen to beat the Mercedes in Shanghai. Max Verstappen wins the 2020 Chinese Grand Prix. Mercedes, Red Bulls, Ferraris all ahead of us as we are just chilling, keeping Lance Stroll at bay. Gasly still has not really cut that gap up. In fact, I believe he's holding up both the Renaults, who will not be getting points in this race. Neither will the McLarens, I don't believe. But who will be getting points? The Cookie Monsters. P8 for ourselves, and that was more of a respectable and clean Grand Prix than the past two races where we really used strategy and good fortune to get, better finishing positions than we should have. That's still a better finishing position than we probably should have had, but, a P8, you take that any day of the week. You see our pace compared to our teammate, not too far off in race pace, but we still were a couple of tenths faster, it looks like. As it looks like one of the McLarens, Norris finished P5, so attaboy to Lando Norris. That was the one non-best of the rest car that was ahead of us, but Sainz, it seems like, got doomed in this race, as did, many of the other two-stoppers, and we now transition to see what Claire is up to.
Amazing performance out there. I'm sure you're pretty happy with that. You really cut your way through the field today. What was your strategy?
I mean, I don't know about cutting our way. We really only made one, or just like 3 overtakes on Perez on the opening lap. Other than that, we were just kind of chilling. But shout out to the power unit.
Expectations, isn't it?
All right, so yeah. I think we'll just say F1 is a team sport. Get our team acclaim, get our team their confidence going so they don't fail any more upgrades on us. So yeah.
Do you have any comments about the collisions?
I'm assuming they're talking about the lap 1 collision with Perez, maybe the lap 5 collision with Perez. That's all Sergio Perez, but I don't have an answer for that, unfortunately.
Great. Well, that's everything.
So that is race number 4 under the belt, and we are currently winning our rivalry with Antonio Giovinazzi. We have had back-to-back better finishing positions than Giovinazzi. Even though he finished 1 spot behind us in Vietnam, we are just at least a little bit better than the Alfa Romeo driver, so we're doing our thing. We get the sponsor bonus for completing at least 75 laps, so that's cash in the bank. Slight damage deduction because of that lap 1 incident, but other than that, clean race for us. We now have accumulated $2.5 million in our bank account for our team, and that means we should be able to upgrade a facility, which we will do. We'll upgrade the chassis facility, trying to focus on the chassis department a little bit since we've been neglecting them so far. So it looks looks like we actually have a press interview lined up. So before this video is over, we are going to be having the press visit our shop, and I believe it's like, yeah, Will Buxton. So we'll see what Will is up to, I guess.
Thanks so much for the invitation to your HQ. Let's have a little chat about the team's performance this season. Would it be safe to say that in terms of team orders, your career comes first in your team?
I wouldn't disagree with that, but like at the same time, there's no team orders here. It's just that Mazepin is a bowling pin and is slow.
Your second driver seems to be getting much more comfortable with their car. Have you been focusing on their development?
Truthfully, no. But that's not an answer here. So I'm just going to say he put time in the simulator, whether he actually has or not.
What are your predictions for your team going into this season?
I would say the prediction going into the season was, by the time the season ended that we would be, probably getting our feet out there and getting some points, maybe being a solid midfield team. We'll go with, I guess, a bit more of a modest answer because, I don't know. I don't think we're going to be a midfield team even by the end of the season, but the way we're progressing, maybe we will.
Your team's been picking up points fairly consistently. Do you think you'll be able to become a challenge to the top teams in the future?
Not this season, bud. Not this season. We've had everything go our way so far this season pretty much, and we still are not challenging the top teams. So let's chill out.
Will your team be going for the Constructors' Championship this season, or just for points?
As you guys saw, we gave our sponsor a shout out in the previous question response. So hopefully that puts more money in our pockets, because otherwise I don't really care for what Will is talking about. Like, I don't know. Like, why are we going for the Constructors Championship this season? Are you high, Will? No, we're not going for the. We're just getting our feet wet in our first ever season, Will. Chill out. We're not going to beat Mercedes in the Constructors Championship. So that's going to do it. We get the new upgrade facility, and we get a new upgrade. I believe that was the aerodynamic upgrade that failed previously. So that's going to be the end of this video. So now that we got that upgrade, it looks like we have passed Alfa Romeo and AlphaTauri, both the Alphas, in the performance index, and hopefully that rear performance upgrade is going to help us out, because that's going to hopefully take away a lot of the wheel spin we've had coming out of corners, which has continued to be the weakness of this Cookie Monster car. So hopefully we can make some real progress as far as the pace of our car in the next race in the Netherlands. So thank you guys for watching. Leave a like on the video if you guys enjoyed it, subscribe for more, and I will catch you guys next time.